Another week of movement on immigration.
And this time, the Trump administration appears to be borrowing a page from the McCarthy era.
Not sure that's how I would describe it, but some Democrats probably are. The Trump administration is asking undocumented immigrants to sign up to a newly created national registry with the goal of self-deportation.
And that's what was done after World War II to ID communists. The Department of Homeland Security announced earlier this week that anyone over the age of 13 who is here illegally must comply or face fines and or imprisonment.
Meanwhile, it's no surprise then that the ladies of The View got into it this week over this subject. View host Alyssa, Farah, Griffin, and Sonny Hostin disagreed about border security. Let's watch.
The point is, you know, he was all about immigration from the southern border, and those immigrants or those migrants look a certain way. So it seems to me this was never really just about immigration. It was about a certain type of immigrant. And so now we have these
Can I just clarify, though?
Can I finish talking?
Yes.
Thank you. So it's okay for Russian oligarchs to come over. It's okay for people with money to come over, but it's not okay to provide a path to citizenship for people that have been here, like the DACA recipients, for other people that look a different way.
Alyssa, Farah, Griffin then fact-checked Sonny Hostin. Let's watch that.
Just to clarify, because there is a border crisis on the northern border, and it doesn't get nearly as much attention as the southern. The numbers aren't as high. It is not Canadians crossing from Canada into the United States.
Who is it?
It is Mexico and India are the two largest places that people are coming, because they're seeing that it's actually easier than going through the cartels and going through a more secure southern border. So if they have the resources, that's what the northern immigration crisis has nothing to do with Canadians.
Yeah, I think that's some tone-deaf commentary from Sonny Hostin. I just don't think it's the case that the frustration with illegal immigration that is a bipartisan concern, that is something Trump won a lot of independents and otherwise Democratic-leaning voters on, the perception that there are too many people coming across not just our southern border, as Alyssa, Farah, Griffin pointed out, and it's not. You can say, oh, it's just racism to be against that. I don't think that's a winning political message. I think it's proven not to be a winning political message. I think Americans are perfectly willing to take immigrants. We are a nation of immigrants. We descend from immigrants, many of us, and immigrants that are going to come here and contribute to the country and work and participate in our economy, that's all good, but we want it done legally, and we should. I support changing the process to make it easier for people who want to work to come here. That's why I'm actually all for letting, if rich people want to buy their way in, that's fine with me, I don't care. But we need to fix the problem of having people being smuggled in by cartels, and then we have to deport, we have to deport people who commit violent crimes here. There is no public will to allow them to just roam our cities, causing public disorder. They have to go.
I have no problem with deporting illegal immigrants who are breaking the law. I do think that we have to have a pathway to citizenship. I do, and we need to make it easier. I think we also have to really start looking at and talking about the real cause of why there's so many people that are coming here. For the last few years, a lot of it has been because they see an economy that was doing better than most of the world. And that, in part, is because we are a country of immigrants. And so this whole conversation, this political divide that we continue to have about talking about immigration and immigrants and how people are getting in, as you were just talking, I had to think about what the former president from Mexico said. You guys are like talking about building a wall. You're not thinking that most of our people are not coming across the wall.
Those people overstaying visas.
And they're just overstaying the visas. Yeah. So, when we keep talking about immigration, immigration has for centuries been an issue that has divided Americans.
Yeah.
Yet, so many different communities are byproduct of immigration or immigrants who came here. The president's family, parents came here. Elon Musk is an immigrant. We're not talking about them. And yes, there are people who have come here who have created and are doing really well financially. This overall piece, though, continues to be that the burden that illegal immigrants or immigration is putting on the country. This conversation here we're having, we're talking about, it's a conversation that deserves to be heard. There is a different emphasis that happens at the south of the border than we do with Canada. But our neighbors at the north, we're consider ourselves more friendlier to them. Yeah. Is it because they're English speaking? And is it because it's Spanish speaking?
People that overstay their visas are not contributing to the same kind of problem than people who are swimming across the Rio Grande and then contributing to an instability as they're just trying to process so many people at once. There's instability in border towns. There being, I mean, within New York, the difficulty they've had having to turn the Roosevelt Hotel into temporary housing for them. People who come in and overstay they have a position, they have a place to stay, and then they're illegal immigrants because the visa expires. That is a different problem than having masses of people directed by cartels streaming across the southern border. That needs to be dealt with. I agree with Elon Musk. I'm in the category with Elon Musk of let's get more high-skilled workers here. I support the H-1B visa program. I'm glad he sold that program to Trump. So the Republican Party is not right now going to be hostile to having people who contribute and work and make our country better coming here. That fight has been decided in favor of the pro-high-skilled immigration wing. Now, that's a little bit different from the problem we're facing on the southern border. And I found it remarkable, actually. This reminds me, you brought up Elon Musk, but yesterday I saw some Democrat, I don't know who it was a Democratic lawmaker standing outside railing against Elon Musk and calling him, questioning his loyalty because he is an immigrant and he's only been here for 20 years. Did you see this yesterday? It was really, really contemptible, really vile. And I think it shows how the Republican Party gets so knocked for being xenophobic and shithole countries, etc. Man, did she reach for that pretty quickly? Elon, we're being run by some disloyal foreigner. Okay, lady.
But I also think that we have to look at what the optics show. So yes, this is someone who's an immigrant who came to America who is firing American workers. So there's that conversation. But going back to their conversation there, and in terms of immigration, we also have to look at, there are a lot of immigrants who come here and do the jobs that a lot of Americans don't want to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, Americans didn't want to do the job of cutting the government, and we got an immigrant to do it instead. I'm all for it. Great.
Good point.
Win-win.
Good point. But here's the other part of it. We keep vilifying immigrants, but we don't ask what is it our policies, United States policies that have made it necessary for people to feel the need to come here, whether or not is our intervention policy where we're going in and we're Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, all the things that we've been doing globally does have an impact, and it is a reason why we have so many people that are coming here. So many reasons why we feel as if that we have to take care of people because this is what we do for our own livelihood. This is what we do for our economy, and there's so many other questions, whatever that go along with that. But in terms of their conversation and making this about race. Again, that is part of the American system. That's our societal problems that we continue to talk about and vilify each other because we need something to argue about. And a lot of it keeps going back to immigration and going back to ethnicity and race and a whole number of other issues.
Well, people are coming here because our policies have destabilized their countries. In that way, here's where my side of the right and even maybe the far left can find some agreement. I disagree with a lot of our foreign policy with interventionism, with nation building, and so I don't want to destabilize the world such that then people come here fleeing political violence after their leaders were overthrown by our governments. I would just fix that by not doing those policies anymore. No more of that. No more regime change.
But we're not having those conversations, and that's where I'm getting to, is that we just keep talking about people coming here. We're not talking about the reasons why people are coming here. And I don't think that many people want to leave their homes where they're born, but they just want to be able to say that I can live somewhere safely, be a very good citizen. A lot of immigrants are coming here and paying taxes, but they don't get the benefits of being a resident within their state. But they're paying taxes. So there are a lot of questions that go further in terms of this immigration debate. I think it's unfortunate often when we have the immigration debate that is largely yesterday the Hispanic and Latino community that's out front of that, because there are a lot of other people that are part of that conversation. But again, within America, I think that we have to start looking at this, one, as a whole, but one, also recognizing, I think Democrats have an opportunity here to talk about how immigrants do help the American economy and help us as Americans, and that we really are just a nation of immigrants, unless you're Native American.
That's true. Lots more to talk about today on Rising. We'll be back with more right after this.